Hi, all N4 students. Communication and management communication, of course. We are busy with Module 1, Basic Communication Principles, and this lesson is about interpersonal communication, the verbal side of it. So let me explain why I say this. Interpersonal communication can be divided up into two categories. Verbal communication, which is communication using words, and nonverbal communication, which is the opposite of that. So the rest of the module will be concentrating on nonverbal communication, but this specific lesson, we are going to look at verbal communication. That means when we use words to communicate. Now, verbal communication can be divided up further into oral communication, which is that which is spoken. So when we speak, we use oral communication. And when we write it down, it's written communication. That can be divided up further. So, but that's for just a minute. So if you can look at the schematic that I have attempted to draw there, you see that each type of communication can be divided up even more. So let's look. Verbal communication happens when you use words to get the message across. It's so important to get this. I mean, it just verbal words, non-verbal, non-words. Get that, understand that in your head. So you divide it into written and oral. Written communication is that which is written down, like the one that you are seeing right in front of you at the moment. There are words written down. It can be direct or indirect. So direct written communication is when the sender is familiar with the receiver. They know each other. When there's an email sent between you and your manager, when there's a WhatsApp sent between you and your friend, between you and your lecturer, that is direct written communication. You write the words down and you send it to somebody that you know. So that's direct. On the other hand, you get indirect written communication. It's when the sender and the receiver are not familiar with each other. Remember in the previous lesson, I mentioned Miss Ditway, who wrote the book. So she has written communication down to you, actually quite literally written the subject communication down for you. You are not familiar with her. You don't know her. She doesn't know you directly. So that is indirect written communication. It's when you read a newspaper, magazine, things like that, an advertisement. But when you know the writer of the message, it is the author. I should use proper English. But when you know the author, it is direct written communication. Moving on to oral communication. That is communication which is spoken. Again, this year that you have here, you hear me speaking things, you hear me saying things, and that is oral communication. And again, oral communication can be divided into direct and indirect. Direct oral communication is when the sender and the receiver are face to face and familiar with each other. They can see each other. The reactions, the feedback is immediate. You're right there. It's direct. Indirect is when there's no face to face contact. They can't see each other. So that is indirect oral communication. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our very short lesson. If you have any questions, please email me at yefkeister@gmail.com. Supporting documents for these lessons are available in my Google Classroom. You go to your browser, you go to classroom.google.com, and you use the code here, FHPXIE2. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate, and I hope that I am of some help to you in this difficult time. Keep the faith. We'll go back to school one of these days. Um, until next time. Bye.